Hello, hello! So today I'm going to be making something that's very special to me and was my favorite growing up. It's my mom's potato salad. So this potato salad is basically a southern twist on regular potato salad. I mean, potato salad in general, well, I know that the Germans kind of have their warm potato salad, but this potato salad is more like, you know, the traditional southern potato salad where it's made with mayonnaise and mustard. But my mom, being from Louisiana, we got a little like Cajun-ness added to it, I guess you could say. I remember this one time when we lived in Okinawa, my family was military, and we had a cookout, and my mom usually makes potato salad when we have cookouts or grill outs or anything like that, but somebody else was hosting this grill out, cookout thing, and I'm always like, hey, free food, you know? So my mom didn't make this potato salad, and so when I ate the potato salad, I kind of whispered to my mom, and I was like, this is bland. And my mom laughed and she goes, yeah, I know, it's probably because they don't have jalapenos in there. And I was like, jalapenos? You put jalapenos in your potato salad? And she laughed and she's like, yeah. So yeah, I knew some of the ingredients, but I definitely didn't know that she put jalapenos in there, and that's definitely where some of that flavor probably got lost because nobody else does it, and I highly recommend putting jalapenos in your potato salad. It does not make it that spicy, it just gives it a little extra flavor. I'm just doing a smaller size recipe for me to enjoy, but I will definitely be putting the full size recipe on the screen for you in case you want to make a full size recipe for, you know, a cookout or guests or dinner or lunch or anything like that. My mom usually uses about 6 to 8 potatoes, and I'm using 2. This potato salad is more like a mashed potato salad with like chunks of tomato. It's not the traditional potato salad where it's like huge cubes in there and then you mix it all up and all that. It's more like mashed potatoes with chunks of tomatoes. I'm using potatoes, onion, celery, bell pepper. I'll be using 2 eggs, even though the full-size recipe says to use 2 eggs, but I love boiled eggs, so that's why I'm using 2 eggs. Pickled jalapenos, mustard, dill relish, mayonnaise, and green olives. Alright, so let's get started making this potato salad. So of course I start off by peeling my potatoes. I personally don't worry about washing my potatoes before peeling them because I wash them after I peel them, so I'm really not scared of the little dirt that might get in there. And then after I peel them, I cut them into thirds long ways, I guess, like when they're whole, and then I cut them each section into thirds again, and then I dice them up. I know that was 2 pieces, but for some reason my camera didn't catch the first piece that I cut up, so I get 3 pieces out of each potato, and then like I'm doing here, you can see I kind of do it once, and then I do it twice, and then I cut those pieces into, I guess not thirds, I guess it just depends, you know, I want them to be all the same size of cube, so it's all just depending upon like what your potato looks like. And again, I don't mind those little nooks in my potatoes. If you do, you can pick them out if you want. I'm not really that picky of a person. Also, dicing them like this, I dice them before I boil them because 1, it doesn't take as long for them to boil, and 2, since it's all getting mashed up, it doesn't really matter. I was placing those pieces in this pot of water the whole time, and I'm deciding to salt it once I put it on the stove. Now I'm moving on to my celery. I only use about 1/3 of the celery stalk, but when you're making a full recipe, you'll use the whole stalk, so it's not wasteful. And then I cut the celery stalk into thirds and then just cut it up, you know, fairly small. I mean, it's not that small. It could probably be finer, but for me, it doesn't really matter. For the bell pepper, I'm also using 1/3 of this bell pepper. I'm trying to keep it fairly equal to each other. The full recipe said 1/4 cup of each of these, so I'm just trying to keep them the same amount for all of the vegetables that I'm putting in there. Again, you would probably use half or the whole bell pepper, so it will not be wasteful. And I will be using these vegetables in a different dish anyway. So now I'm moving on to mincing my garlic. I didn't list it off when I was listing the ingredients I was using. I totally forgot about it, but I use about 2 cloves of garlic. You can use as much as you want. I was going to put 5 cloves in the full recipe. My mom technically uses garlic salt. She doesn't really like fresh garlic. It's a shame, really. But but instead, I decided to kind of replace the garlic salt with fresh garlic. Now I'm going to move on to my onion. I kind of cut through that and I was like, oh crap. But everything is fine. Nothing happened. I used about a quarter of a whole onion since I only used half this onion. Again, my onions and my vegetables I will be using in other dishes. There's no waste happening in this house, at least as much as possible. So now my water is at a rolling boil. I don't know how long I boiled my potatoes because I start moving on to now chopping my olives and all the other ingredients while that is starting to boil and my potatoes soften. I end up using a lot of green olives, way more than I probably should have, but I don't mind it. If you're not a big olive person, then you'll probably want to use less olives. The full recipe asks for the amount of olives that I end up using for this quarter of a recipe. Now I'm moving on to my jalapenos. This is all happening so fast. It was all to taste, so I figured for the jalapenos, I would just put in as much as I really desired. They're pretty spicy when I tasted them by themselves, so I figured why not just throw it in there. This is me mixing everything together to make sure it's kind of an equal amount of what I would like to my potatoes, if I need more of anything or anything like that. My potatoes have been strained now, and so I'm going to mash them, but not too long and not too much because, again, even though it's like a mashed potato salad, it's not super mashed. I still want to keep the chunks of tomatoes in there and keep it kind of authentic to that potato salad. I peeled my eggs and now I am cutting them in half just to get the yolks out to start with. This is so I can make the mayonnaise and mustard and dill relish mixture. Once I took the yolks out from the eggs, I just flip them over and do a really rough chop. This was not the best knife to use for it, honestly, because there was like no room for my knuckles in the board. Like I just kept kind of banging my fingers on the board. But yeah, I don't care about how my chopped eggs look to me. That's why they're a rough chop. Now I'm moving on to the egg yolk mayonnaise mixture, you could say. I added 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise to my yolks. My camera didn't catch it. That's totally fine. And then now I'm adding the same amount of mustard, so 2 tablespoons of mustard. And then I add a teaspoon of dill relish on top. I know that's kind of like a deviled egg filling recipe, but that's also what they use in potato salad. So yeah, I mean, it's really similar, but the reason why I'm mixing this up is because it's just going to be the wet part of the potato salad. So I'm adding that now into my potato salad, and then I'm going to mix that up just by itself before I add in the vegetables because I want it to be even throughout the potatoes before I mix in the vegetables. I mean, I guess you could do it all at once. Maybe I'm just making an extra step, but for me, I just want to make sure that it was all even. And now I'm just adding my vegetables and eggs, and then I will start stirring those in there as well, making sure that it's just all evenly incorporated like it should be. As you probably noticed, it is a big vegetable ratio to my potatoes, but I really just winged it. I just looked at what my mom puts in and then I winged it, but I did write down exactly what my mom wrote down for me. This Tony Chachere's is great on everything like it says. I literally use it on everything. This is what my mom uses for her potato salad too. I just sprinkled it all over the top. It's always to taste with this stuff and it's delicious. Use it, buy some, I don't care. Just have it in your house. This is the finished potato salad, and I put some paprika on top and some fresh parsley. So of course I will be trying this potato salad. It is so good. I don't even have to try it, honestly, because again, I've grown up with this potato salad. Of course, it will not be made with the same love. Before I take a taste too, I just want to say, obviously this is a good amount for like 2 people at a cookout. That's why I said it's just going to be more personal for me, just to kind of like snack on for the next few days. Yeah, Ben doesn't really care for potato salad. It's a shame, really. I don't know why. But we'll move on to tasting it. It's so good. It really does taste like my mom's. And it's not really that spicy considering how much jalapeno I use, but there is spice. So, like there is a little bit of spice to it, but it's not like spicy. You know what I mean? I don't really mind the crunch all that much. It kind of adds nice texture to something that's mushy like this. But if you're not really a fan of the crunchiness, you can always just dice it up more or even put it in like a food processor and just like process it up into a paste or something like that. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I really hope you guys will try some of my mom's potato salad because it is to die for. It's really one of the best things, I think, to have at a cookout, especially when you have barbecue going on with kind of like the spices of the barbecue and whatnot, anything like that. It would just go terrific. It's delicious. Try it out. If you like Cajun food, try it out. Get some Tony Chachere's too if you like Cajun food, because that stuff I put on everything. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.